aboard were killed on impact. Words cannot describe how heartbreaking this is, and I can only imagine how much pain and anguish you all must be feeling at this time, as well as how much pain and anguish you all will be feeling in the coming days and weeks as we mourn this terrible loss.
UNICEF is training thousands of women to boost their families' nutrient intake in several Nigerian communities in the northeastern Gombe state. Tubers and grains have been grown in home gardens, allowing families to spend less on food, thereby elevating chronic malnutrition afflicting the region, especially its children. More than a dozen women gathered this week in the village of Poshring, where they are learning at least 200 recipes they can prepare with crops like cassava, orange flesh, sweet potato, maize and millet. South Africa's main opposition leader said that breaking the African National Congress's majority is the way to rescue South Africa. In the latest election, 60% of voters have been counted, with long-time ruling party ANC only holding just under 42%. That represented a huge drop from 57.5% it received in the last national election in 2019, although the final results from Wednesday's election have not yet been declared. More than 50% is required in order for the ANC leader, President Cyril Ramaphosa, to remain president under South Africa's parliamentary system. South Africans in Cape Town gave a mixed reaction to early election results, which show the long-ruling African National Congress below 50% in the vote. The election figures suggest that they may lose their majority. Very early counts put the ANC at just over 42%, with just over 16% of votes counted and declared. It was only a partial picture after Wednesday's election. If the ANC is denied a majority, it would be the first time since they came to power under Nelson Mandela at the end of the apartheid in 1994. And South Africa is heading closer to the reality of a national coalition government for the very first time after partial election results on Friday put the ruling African National Congress well short of a majority. With more than 65% of votes counted across the country's 9 provinces, the ANC, which has held a majority for 30 years since the end of the apartheid, had received just under 42% of the national vote in Wednesday's election, according to the latest partial results. South Africa's Electoral Commission held a media briefing to give an update on vote counting after the country held its national election. C. Mabalulu, the chief electoral officer, said that counting procedures have now been concluded. At around 3 p.m., he added that only a few voting stations reported to still be counting. Mabalulu clarified that the process of the results compilation entails ensuring accuracy and validation of those results. The final results of a vote that could bring the biggest political shift in South Africa's young democracy were expected to take days, with the Independent Electoral Commission saying that they could come earlier. Russia's foreign minister held talks with his Chadian counterpart as he wrapped up his whirlwind tour of West Africa in an attempt to fill the vacuum left by the region's partners. Sergei Lavrov held talks with the Chadian foreign minister Abdurrahman Koulamala in N'Djamena. He was wrapping up a multiple Stop Africa tour, which also included visits to Guinea, the Republic of Congo and Burkina Faso. And moving on, Rwanda said the UN Refugee Agency had lied when the organization told a British court this week that asylum seekers sent to the East African country could be moved on again to states where they risk torture or death. Lawyers representing the United Nations High Commissioner 4 refugees have told the court that Rwanda's asylum system was inadequate as part of a challenge to the British government's policy to deport asylum seekers there. Rwanda's government spokesperson said in a statement that the organization seems intent on presenting fabricated allegations to UK courts about Rwanda's treatment of asylum seekers, while still partnering with Rwanda to bring African migrants from Libya to safety in Rwanda. President Yoon Suk-yeol said that South Korea will expand development aid to Africa and pursue deeper cooperation with the region on critical minerals and technology as he hosted a meeting with dozens of African leaders in Seoul. In a speech to the Korea-Africa Summit, Yoon also urged African countries to take firmer steps in an international pressure campaign against North Korea. The North